Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Hopefully you can hear me now. Y'all let me know in the chat box that you can hear me. Great, great. Okay, sorry about that. Microphone wasn't on yet. I apologize. But thank you all so much for joining me. If this is your very first time on, make sure that you let me know where you're joining me from. And also, if this is your very first live, hi, I am Elena. I'm a life and money organization coach. And today we're going to be talking about eight areas that you can organize within your planner. The goal of today's session is to help you to discover several ways that you're able to organize different areas of your life. So I have been using my planner consistently for about 7 to 8 years now, but it took me about 3 years to be able to figure out how to organize the different areas of my life that really would help me to be able to excel in those areas. So, as we're getting started, I want y'all to answer this question for me. This is just something that I want to know. How are you currently feeling about your planning system? Do you feel like your system is giving you everything that you need and more? Is there an area that you wish you could organize a little bit better? Do you feel like you're able to keep everything in your current system and it is all working for you? Let me know. Put it in the chat box. Add all of your comments. I have been using a disc-bound system for I want to say about 6 years now. I started off my planning journey in Erin Condren. I used Spiraled for a while. And then once I switched over to the disc-bound system, I have not looked back. The disc-bound system has had my heart for quite some time. And I feel like customizable planners are just the thing that really transformed my journey. But I wanted to hear from some of you and see how your journey is going. I see I used to be a GTD trainer. I love how you present organization. Thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate that. Oh, you're loving your planner this year. Jennifer says she's loving hers. Oh, but Lisa's not. I can't get anything to stick. So hopefully some of the things that we talk about today is going to help you, Lisa. And especially if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like your system is chaotic, is not being used well. I don't know how to organize my work planner. What current planner are you using is what we're asking. And do you have some type of organization system right now that you are loving? If you do, let me know. Let me know if you want to find ways to simplify, if you're finding out different things of how to use your planner in an effective way. That's what I do. I also have my own system, and I am so happy that you're loving it, Alicia. I love my Tom 90 planner. This is my system that I use in order to customize everything that I have going on in my life. Boho is working for you. That's great, Lillian. I have used the bullet journal off and on. Now I kind of use my bullet journal as like a brainstorming notebook, but I still absolutely love it. I love it. Oh, I'm so happy that y'all, I see we're kind of in different spaces. Like some people are loving their current system. Some people are like not liking it at all. And it seemed extreme. It's like some of y'all are loving your system. And then others of you are not having it. It's not working out for you. So hopefully what we talk about today and the different things that I do today in order to show you different ways that you can organize is going to help you. Yes, I absolutely love the letter size disc bound planner. I have tried classic size. I have tried minis. I always end up coming back to the bigger size. And I know every now and then someone will say, you don't have half letter, you don't have this. And I just could never get into it. The bigger size, I need all of the space. So it just has always worked for me. However, I really love to look at all of the classic size and half letter planners out there. Even I've tried them over and over and then always end up coming back. So let's go ahead and dive into today's lesson. So we're going to talk about eight areas that you need to organize. But let's first start talking about the official problem. Our problem statement for today is we have a bunch of different areas in our life that we are trying to get together. There's so many areas that we are trying to stay on top of. There's so many different things that we have to do, and we need a system or a way to organize each one of these areas. And you may not be able to organize each one of them the exact same way, and that's what we're going to highlight today. So the first thing we're going to highlight is the eight areas that I am going to talk about that I like to organize on a consistent basis that I believe will be helpful to you to help you organize these eight areas. And the reason why I have picked these eight is because these are the eight that really coincide with happiness. Many times we try and correspond our happiness to things that we're able to do, or places or things that we're able to buy. But really and truly, studies show, when you look in the depth of the studies of how the human mind works, there's really a course of several areas that if you are able to stay on top of these, and usually it is corresponding with your mind, your spirit, your body, and all of those things, that makes it to where you feel happy and you feel more at peace. So we're going to talk about those eight areas that you should stay on top of in order to add to your happiness. And then we're going to talk about, on top of those eight areas, the ways that you can organize them within your system, the ways that you can organize them within your planner. These are the things that I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've done in the past and some of the things that I am currently doing in order to organize them in my planner. So I have a bunch of pictures in the slides as well. So y'all will have some visuals as we kind of go along in today's class. Remember, if you have any questions as we go into today's class, use #Q in the chat and then add your question. #Q. That allows me to be able to quickly see that it's a question. So make sure that you do that in the chat box for me. All right. Let's talk about the eight areas that you want to identify to organize. So here are your eight, and these are the eight that we're going to talk about today. Number one, your time. You have to figure out a way to organize your time, because your time is going to tell you when and where you are doing anything else. What time you have to be at certain places, when you have to do certain meetings, when you have to do certain errands, things that you have to do, how you are going to organize this and keep a list so that you can stay on top of all of these things matter. So organizing your time is a big part. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to organize it and the different ways that you can do it to where it will work for your brain. Every single way doesn't click automatically, but that's why we're going to talk about the different ways that you can do it. Number two, your mind, what you're learning, what you're reading, how do you brainstorm, brain dump, all of the different things that kind of go on in our heads. How do we organize it? We are going to talk about the different ways to help you to organize your mind. Three, your body. How do you organize your body physically? How do you stay on top of what you're going to eat? Your physical activity. How are you making sure your pain management and making sure that you feel good and you can stay on top of things? All of that matters. So we are going to talk about that today as well. Your space. Your environment is usually the one that most people focus in on, but it is a small portion of your organization. So we're going to talk about what spaces matter most to you and how do you organize those particular spaces. The fourth area or fifth area is your spirit. How are you organizing your spirit? How are you feeling connected? How are you feeling at peace? How do you feel like you are doing something bigger than yourself? That all matters as well. And how do you organize that? The next area is your money. We talk about money a lot around here because money plays such a big part in your life. And so, how do you organize your budget, your savings? How do you make sure you're still getting out of debt and managing and hitting your marks and hitting the goals, and you're able to retire when you want to retire? Your next area is your relationships. With your relationships, we are literally talking about your family, your friends, your any person in your life that matters to you. And do I organize it? Yes, yes, I do. I organize when I'm going to spend time with my family. I organize when I'm going to spend time with my friends. I organize all my relationships and make sure that I'm staying on top of people, because time goes by so quickly, life goes by so quickly, and you will be surprised at how quickly life will pass you up, and it will be years before you are able to connect or do any of this. And your last area is your work. So we're going to talk about the different ways that you can organize your work, and the different things that I do to help me to organize my business. Okay. So those are all of the 8 areas that we are going to talk about today, but let's answer this really quick question. How do you stay motivated to plan consistently? Two things that I really, really like to do when it comes down to being more consistent. The first thing is managing your energy. Managing your time is such a small part of actually the things that you have to do. I did an entire class on energy management, because if you don't feel like it, if you feel sluggish, if you feel lethargic, if you can't get out of bed, if you are sick, it is going to be you're going to be unable to do any of this. And so I would advise you to go back and watch that class. I will try and add that class in the description box after I jump off of live, because it is so important to manage your energy when it comes down to motivation and consistency. I want to say we also did a class on staying motivated as well. I will try and see if I can find that one, but it's definitely directly connected to your energy management and your overall habits. Okay, so we're going to definitely dive into that as well. Ooh, if you just, I see that someone just had a baby, and I see everyone in the comments, and I want to mention this, because even when I talk about all these areas and I talk about how I've been able to kind of organize my life and stay on top of different things, I don't want you to mistake that as I've always been able to do this. I have not. When my kids were small, so my kids are currently 11 and almost 9. My youngest will turn 9 years old next month. And the thing is that when you have a baby, when you have a major life change, when someone passes in your family and you're grieving, whenever there is a really, really big life change, all of this can be or may have to be adjusted. I had when I had my daughter, I wasn't doing hardly any of this. I was literally just focusing in on mind, body, spirit, relationships, and time. And really and truly, sometimes my body would be completely off of the table, because I was just trying to make sure that my newborn was okay. So just remember that everything is not going to stay in balance 100% of the time. And that is okay. Sometimes you will be able to touch on all of these areas, and you will be able to connect to all of these areas. Sometimes you may be able to do 1 or 2 areas, and then you don't have time, or you're exhausted for anything else. My goal here is to make you aware of all 8 of these areas, aware of the different ways that you can organize them, and aware of, if you have 5 extra minutes, that maybe you can do one of these things. It is not to make it to where you have to do all of these all the time in order to be a functioning adult. It's not the case. There have been plenty of times where I have not been able to get to all 8 of these things, but I do try and jump back in when I can. And that's the goal. If we have set the mark and we have said, okay, these are the things that I want to do. Even if I don't get to read a book this month, then it's on my list for next month. And it's always still kind of in my wheelhouse. It's always there. And I'm always reminding myself of what I want to do, even if I'm not able to do it right when I want to. It's still on my list. And so that's the goal. That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get into these 8 areas. Let's get into these 8 areas. Yeah, the beginning days, like she says, Tony, the beginning days are pure survival. We're in it to survive. And then after a while, you will find over the years that it will get a little bit easier and a little bit easier. I feel like I wasn't really starting to get back into the groove of things until my babies were like maybe 6 or 7, where I could just do a majority of the things on this list. But before then, take your time, give yourself a lot of grace, take a lot of breaks, and take naps when you can, because you're going to need it. It's okay. It's okay. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So the very first area that I'm going to talk about is your spirit. It's your spirit. Deciding what you need to do right now within your spirit so that you feel like you have order, so that you feel connected, so that you feel at peace. How do you like to write in your notes? How do you like to keep track of spiritual things? Do you like to free form things, or do you like structure when it comes down to your spiritual organization? Now, I'm going to say this. This is for me. I am a Christian. So I am also a pastor. So me and my husband have a church. So since that's the case, my spiritual life is a very big part of my organization journey. It's a big part of what I do. I like to read commentaries. I like to do meditation. I like to do Bible study. I like to memorize scripture. There are a bunch of different things that I like to do within my spiritual journey in order to feel at peace. And so I like to organize this area. And the different things that I will do is I will write in my actual planner. This is a picture of my planner. And this is my monthly calendar. And I will write the verse of the day. I will also write in here, I have a journaling Bible. I will take notes within my journaling Bible and draw and highlight and do so much of this type of scripture study. And this helps me to feel like I'm taking 5-10 minutes a day. This could literally take me 5 minutes, but it is such a big part of just making me feel more at peace and more at ease when I start my day like this. Another thing that I will do is use my horizontal planner. I use a horizontal planner for my faith planning, and I will write out different subjects or different things that I am thinking about or want to talk about, or things that I have looked at. So this was a scripture study or a Bible study that I did on the purpose for your life, and just different questions that you can ask yourself in order to figure out the different things that you want to do for your overall life. And I wanted to write it down in my faith planner. So that is exactly what I did. So you could do something like this where you have more structure, or you could also do something where it's free form, where it's not a planner at all. But when you have extra time, when I didn't have a bunch of time, what I would do is just take a sheet of paper and I would just write out different things when I have time. So when I had an entire week and I knew I could dedicate 10-15 minutes every single morning to my faith planning, then I used a horizontal planner to do that. But when I was in a season where I just didn't have that kind of time, my time was really, really wound up. Maybe I was working or I just had a lot on my plate. Then I might have done it once a week and I made it more free form. So how you decide to do this is completely up to you. But once again, organizing your spiritual journey, or how you meditate, or how you keep up with your spiritual side, is going to help you along with everything else that we're talking about today. Because a big part of this is mindset, mental. It can really affect all other things across the board. So having a system for how you stay on top of your prayer life, your organization of your spirit, your Bible study, or how you stay on top of all of those things matters. It definitely matters. The second area is your time. It is your time. How you organize your to-do list, your appointments, your meetings, your errands. We need to know, how do you want to see that? How do you like to organize your time? So here are the questions that you can ask yourself. Number one, do you normally feel relaxed when you set your schedule by time? I talk about time blocking a lot. I like to organize by time and I like to plan by the hour. But I also recognize that I have a very, very type A personality. I'm very detail oriented. I have paralysis analysis sometimes. If I have way too many options for myself, sometimes that hinders me from making a move. So I like to plan every single minute. I like to plan every single hour. However, for other people, that makes them feel like they're backed into a corner. That can make them feel like that's a little too much and they don't like it. So how do you like to do it? Knowing that is going to matter. Do you prefer like to keep a list of the things that you like to do, or do you like to schedule by the hour like I do? I recommend that if you do schedule your time, even no matter how you do it, in your paper planner by a list or by the hour of the day, that you still have a digital version of that same schedule. So for instance, when it comes to my appointments and my meetings, all of that is also on Google Calendar. Now, not my to-dos, but I will schedule appointments and meetings in Google Cal, or anything that is time sensitive. I will put that in my Google Calendar along with also adding it into my planner. And that is just in case I make a mistake and am not looking at my planner at a time when I really, really need to be. And I want to make sure that I don't miss any appointments and meetings. But let's talk about the different ways that you can organize your time. The very first way is by the hour. So this is something that I have done. I share this a lot on my channel every time I do a weekly plan with me. I'm actually doing a weekly plan with me tomorrow. So if you want to see exactly how I set this up and how I use my system, how do I schedule my time of the day, and how do I set this aside for time blocking, I am going to do that video tomorrow. But I do like to have like headers and then a bunch of different things that I would like to do within that time frame that I have set within my planner. Here's another example of how I will highlight different things that I need to do, and I will block it off by time. So my planner goes from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. And I do like to look at the time frame that I am supposed to do something and add that into my planner. Another way that you can do this as well, if you don't like to plan out the entire week, is just plan the day. I saw Jennifer put this, and this, I have done this as well. Plan as you go. You don't have time to set up an entire week. That's okay. Just set up the day. Just set up the day, right? Do what you can with the time that you have. And if you are unable to think about everything that you got to do for an entire week, planning your day is just as well. We just want you to get into the habit of deciding what you're going to do before you do it. And planning your time is just that. No matter if you do it for the week before or if you do it the day of, it still counts. It still counts, guys. Like, give yourself credit. I am planning as I go, and there have been seasons of my life where I couldn't plan my week. I didn't know how my week was going to go. And so I will just plan my day. I will just plan my day. When it comes to my weekly plan with me, that's going to be a video tomorrow. So it's not going to be live, but it will be a video that I'm going to set up for tomorrow. So if you just want to watch me kind of like a vlog style, going through how I set up my week, that is going to be tomorrow's video. Okay. But when I didn't have time to plan out my week, I would plan out my day. And this is how it looks when I plan out my day. Another thing that I did is when I didn't have the time to list or think about what I was going to do every single hour, or I didn't know how my day was going to go, then I wrote to-do lists. And this is what, in my vertical planner, I would just write all of the different things that I needed to do, and I would not set any times to them. Now, this might be a big thing for a lot of you who do not like to feel like you're backed into a corner. You don't like it to feel too set, because it feels like it is going to, like, many times when people schedule by the hour, they don't like it. This is a great option for you. Schedule just to-do list. Write everything down that you want to do in one day, and this gives you more freedom to actually just plan your day as you see fit, and it's not set by time. Is there a set schedule for the live streams? Because I love these. They're so helpful. Currently, yes. So I post videos Wednesday and Friday, and our lives will be Thursday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Lives on Thursday, 4 p.m. Central Time. So I just kind of got back into them. So I've done 2. So this is our second one so far, but that's the schedule. Every week, 4 p.m. Central. If I am unable to do 4 p.m. Central on a Thursday, then I will usually post something about it and let y'all know that I can't go live because I have a schedule conflict or something like that. But that is currently the thing. That's currently the schedule. How often do I check my planner? I check my planner 3 times a day. I check it as soon as I wake up. That is usually when I might do my spiritual reading, and I'm going to just look and see what I have for the day. The second time I will check my planner is usually around lunchtime when I am taking my break and just kind of updating it just to see what has happened so far. What have I done? What do I need to do? And then I will also check it at the end of my day to kind of start to prep and plan for the very next day. Okay, so those are the 3 times that I would check it. Let's go to another way that I will plan my day in list form. So this is another thing that I will do. I will list my top 3. I have my top 3 things that I want to do. And then I just have a list of things that I want to do on this particular day. I did not schedule any time. I just kind of wrote down a really long list of everything that I wanted to do and how I wanted to, the things that I wanted to achieve. But once again, not by time. So if you are the type of person that doesn't like to have too much on your plate, and you like to have more freedom with your time frames of when you're going to do what, then definitely have a list, have some type of to-do list. Now, this is a great thing that Jennifer is saying. I kept a master to-do list and assigned myself a task or two to do for each week. I do this in a way as well. So I have my work planner, I have my personal planner, and then I have my catch-all planner, which is my hourly planner. And that is something I will do. I will write down a list of a bunch of things that I need to do within the time frame that I have allotted within my catch-all planner. But having some type of master list, I will also keep in my brainstorming notebook a master list of just random things that I have thought about, and then I will decide when I'm going to do it. I will add it to my planner later on. All right. So that is another way that you can do this, but play around with it, experiment. You just never know what is going to, how it's going to work out best for you. All right, let's go to the next area. Your mind. We talked about your spirit. We talked about your time, your mind. How many books do you want to read this year? We want to be continuously learning, intaking information. How often do you want to take a class? How do you want to see this information organized? And this is even into account for things that you are learning on the fly. Like, I like to watch YouTube videos. I like to read different books. I like to learn new things and complete different things. I like to have ways to clear my mind. So when you take a class like this one, let's say we are in class talking about 8 areas that you can organize. You're not going to remember all of these areas. Are you writing them down? And if you are, I hope that you're keeping it in your planner or in a place, in a notebook, somewhere where you can go back and actually read the things that you've learned, so that 2 weeks from now, if you want to start to organize or develop some type of system to organize your life, that you come back to these notes and you think about the different classes that we've talked about and the systems that we've talked about, and that has helped you to develop your own system. But if you are learning things and there's no way for you to intake the information later on, then it is going to be hard for you to retain that information or to keep that information. So I keep a commonplace notebook, a reading planner, whatever you want to call it, where I will jot down different things that I have learned. This is one of my favorite things to do whenever I have time. I'm not going to be, I have to be honest, many times I don't have as much time to do this as I would like, but I love to write down different notes of different things that I have learned over time. So I have done reading notes. I have done articles that I have read online. I have put in my planner notebook, just things that I have watched on YouTube. I have added all of those different things into my planner and put it under my reading or my mental mind section, right? So this is something that I feel like a lot of people don't do, but we should. Keeping track of the different things that you've learned and the books that you've read, and just keeping up with the notes that you have from different things is going to be so helpful when you're trying to reflect or look back on those notes. I read Atomic Habits. I've read Getting Things Done. I've read so many books, and then I will mix them up sometimes or forget what I read. And having a place where I can go back and look in my planner and see what, oh yeah, that's right, I read this in this particular book. Let me see if I can find that note in my notebook. And being able to go back to a planner or a notebook and see those notes is super helpful. It's super helpful. So I have read different articles, and every time I will read something that I just know I want to keep, I add it into my planner. That's as easy as it goes. I just add it into my planner. I will add a couple of stickers, and it just makes it really fun. So I have done videos on a nice number of these spreads. So if you see a spread that you absolutely wanted to look at or find out more about, you can just probably Google or YouTube the actual title of that's on the screen, because I've done videos on pretty much all of these spreads that I'm showing you now. But this is a wonderful way to keep up with the things that you want to organize in your mind. The second way that I organize my mind is when I need, so trying to keep stuff that I want to come in to stay in. And then I also have something that I want to, if I want to clear my mind, and that is my brainstorming notebook. So that's this notebook here that I have next to my planner. And that is a notebook that I will use in order to brain dump, to brainstorm, when I'm trying to flush out ideas, when I'm trying to think through content, anything that is just trying to clear my head is usually going to go in my brainstorming notebook. And I really do love this notebook. I actually have it right next to me. This is, and it is a bullet journal. It's a Leuchtturm 1917 bullet journal. But the way that I use it is I will just use it to kind of jot down different notes and brainstorm. And I will keep in here meeting notes. It's just a bunch of different things that I just want to write down. And having this notebook along with my planner allows me to keep my planner pretty neat, because my planner is where I'm planning and writing down everything that I need to just structure, right? But my brainstorming notebook is where I'm fleshing out ideas. I don't know if this is actually going to make it to my planner or not, but it is something that I just need to keep track of, or I just want to clear my head. I just need to write. I'm the type of person that needs to write. I have to write to clear my head. And many times if I'm just jotting down scribble scratch, it's not really something that I need to add into my planner, that I need to take any action on. I am just clearing my head, and my brainstorming notebook is the perfect place for that. So for your mind, when we're trying to organize our mind, we're thinking of two things. The first thing we're thinking of is, how do we intake and keep information in our head? The books that we're reading, the things that we're learning, the classes that we're taking. How do I find a place where I can organize and keep that information? The second thing that you're trying to organize is the output that's in your mind? How do I clear my mind? How do I make sure I have more focus? How do I get all of these random thoughts that are coming in out of my head? And those are the two areas that you can either use a reading planner or a commonplace planner in order to keep track of information that you want to add into your mind. And then you can use a brainstorming notebook for things that you want to output or get rid of. Right? So those are your options. I absolutely love the Leuchtturm 1917. I have been using this particular brainstorming notebook probably for about 4 or 5 years. Let's see. Yeah, about 5 years. I have I have them all sitting on the shelf back here. Those are my old ones. But I have about 6 or 7 of them there. And it's because usually I will use 2 a year, one at the beginning of the year. I usually have to replace them like every 3 or 4 months. I will have to get a new one because I'm brainstorming in them and just dumping in them and scribble scratch. So it usually fills up. And it's called a Leuchtturm 1917. If you go over to my Amazon, if you go over to my Amazon favorites, I will link it in the description box. But my Amazon favorite shop, under planners or under bullet journal, you will see it. It is the Leuchtturm 1917 notebook. And I want to say this is the A5 size, which is like the medium size, I believe. A5 or A7. I think it's A5. But you'll see it, direct link to it within my Amazon shop. Do you carry your planner and brainstorming notebook? Yes. Yes. For the most part, yes. So the only time I won't carry my brainstorming, I won't carry my planner is if I am running a bunch of errands and I know I'm going to be on my feet a majority of the time. So for instance, if I'm running to the mall and the post office and I got to go to Target then I'll probably take my brainstorming notebook, but leave my planner. And then anything that happens while I am out, I will transfer to my brainstorming notebook and then add back to my planner whenever I get to it. And that is only if I'm running errands. And if I am running an errand for something that's listed in my planner, then I will just take a picture of my planner. That's how I usually will still be able to be on the go and still have what I need. However, for the most part, I have my planner because if I am going anywhere work related, if it is a work meeting or any type of work related event, I'm going to carry my planner. That is when I'm going to need my planner the most. And so I'm going to keep it on me. So usually I am going to have both. And I shared with y'all the current purse that I am using, which is the Teddy Blake purse. That was a couple of videos ago, and it does keep both my planner and my notebook in them. Let me see. I actually have it next to me. This is the purse that I will usually carry. Let me actually change y'all real quick. So this is the purse that I will usually carry. It is my Teddy Blake purse. It is like just open in the inside. And so I am able to carry in here my planner and my brainstorming notebook at ease. And I actually pack it in the video where I show you exactly how I organize my bag when I am carrying my planner and my notebook with me. Now, my planner only has 1 month from each section. So it's actually not as heavy or as big as people believe. I think that people believe it's just like this really, really heavy planner, but it's really not. Well, at least it's not for me. I am able to carry it on my arm with no problem. I don't have any issue with that. Okay. One more question before we keep going. Which way do you use your planner the most, in the digital or physical? I am 99% physical. The only time I'm using digital is if I am scheduling a meeting. I do like to add that to Google Calendar so that I don't miss it, just in case I am not in front of my planner when that is going on. I want to make sure that I don't miss an appointment or I'm on time for an appointment. Other than that, physical. Everything is on paper. Even my to-do list, it's all on paper. I have tried apps, tried to a fault. And it's never really, really worked out for me. Never really worked out for me. So, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Your body. How do you organize your body? This is a big part of our overall energy, of how we feel. This is going to include what you're eating, how you're working out, how much you're working out. How do you physically feel? So the mind is how you're mentally feeling, right? That might be where you need to journal. That might be where you need to brainstorm, brain dump, or even intake information. How do you want to organize all of that? How you organize your body is monitoring your physical activity, your cooking, your eating, your restaurant going out, the medicine you're taking, your overall moods. All of that are things that I will monitor within my planner. And the reason why I do this is because this has a direct correlation to how you're going to feel and how much you're able to get done and how productive you are. And we don't want to just have to rely on caffeine if we're not sleeping well. Some of these things you're able to identify and be able to change because you're just monitoring your habits and you're monitoring when the same thing is happening to you over and over and over again. I tell this story all the time, but I was having major migraines, like horrible migraines, a couple of years ago. And I kept having these migraines and I couldn't figure out why. And then I started to track them and I started to keep them in my planner. And something as simple as keeping them in my planner, along with keeping track of what I was eating and how often I was taking medicine, my doctor was able to identify, because I was going there with my planner saying, okay, I had a headache this day. I had it this day. This is what I ate. This is what I ate. This is, how much water I had, all of that. I was able to say I wasn't sleeping, this, and this, and give my doctor the full picture, which in turn helped them to identify, okay, when you eat dairy, you have an inflammation. You may want to figure out how to minimize what you're eating, or how to identify the different things that are affecting your body a certain way. And so I would have never known that had I not been tracking it in my planner, because it seemed so sporadic when I first started tracking. It seemed so ridiculous. And I'm like, there is no pattern, until months later, I was like, oh, there's definitely a pattern. Every time you drink milk or have any type of dairy product, you get a headache every single time. So just knowing different things like that and how it affects you can really, really help you on your organization and planning journey. So these are the different things that I have used in order to help me with my overall body and monitoring different things with my body. One is my recipe planner. So that's the one that's on the left here. And I will write down different recipes that I want to try, different things that I want to intake. I am adding in all of the ingredients, so that helps me with overall staying on top of everything that I need. And then I also have a health tracker. Now, this one I don't use as much. I used to use it a lot a couple of years ago, but now I have a separate habit tracker that I will use, and I'm writing all the different habits that I have on my habit tracker. And I also do keep track if I'm sleeping and working out well in my personal planner. But both of these are super, super helpful in order for you to stay on top and organize this area. We're talking about organizing how we are feeling with our bodies. We only get one, so we got to make sure we organize and stay on top of it so that we feel ultimately good. This is another version of my recipe planner along with my personal planner. So I will pull out the recipes within my recipe planner that I want to try for the week and just add them into my planner. So this is my letter size planner and this is my recipe planner. And then I will just keep track of what our meal plan is. And then I will just write it on an insert or write it in my planner. And I'm just basically saying, okay, this is what we're having for dinner. We might have breakfast for dinner. We might do tacos. We might do fish, whatever the case may be. I am able to plan it out on this sheet, and something as simple as that is super, super helpful when it comes to organizing your body. Now, I feel like a lot of us already meal plan, The main thing with your meal planning process, though, is trying to make sure that you're picking things that are family favorites that your family wants to eat. Because this is the hardest part for me. Is sometimes I will pick something and then my family decides to change and they don't want that for that day. So we literally will figure it out. Yes, I do consider meal planning as a part of my body planning, and that's just what I am intaking. So with my body planning, it's physical activity, how I'm feeling, like my overall mood, pain management, if I have any headaches or any pain, and my overall physical activity. So eating, how much I am moving, working out, how I'm feeling overall in mentally, how I'm feeling, and how I'm feeling physically. So all of that matters. If my mood is off, I will track it. I will write it down because that does help me want to, stay on top of everything. So, um, how do you keep all of this in one planner section? So, if you want one planner where you literally just keep all of this in one section, you can use your sidebar, you can use the bottom half of your planner, and you can still add different things in the inside of your planner. So, I have a video that is out there and it's called How to Keep Track of Everything in One Planner. It's probably, I want to say, 2 years old, maybe, but the concept is still the same and it still really, really heavily applies. And this is when I was only in one planner. Like I said, at different times of my planning journey, I had to switch up my style. And this is if I knew, okay, I can't keep track of all of these planners, I only want one. And so I have a video out there that shows you exactly how to keep it all in one section, even though I currently have about 6 sections in my planner. But you can definitely do all of this in one. Like inserts can be your very best friend. Even with this, I was using inserts. I had an insert for my meal planning process that I would just pop in. And I also had an insert for any type of recipes or anything that I was going to cook for that week. Okay. Do I keep a consistent habit tracker? Yes. Yes. Yes, I do. I love my habit tracker and I do love my habit tracker. Do I sell the entire planner already put together? Yes. So the planner that I sell, it's the Tom 90 planner. It has 4 sections. It has the hourly section. It has a vertical planner, 3 months of each one. So 3 months of an hourly planner, 3 months of a vertical planner, 3 months of a monthly planner, and 3 months of a budget planner. You could switch out any of those. Like I had someone switch out the vertical planner for a daily planner. I've had someone switch out the life planner for the horizontal planner, and you are able to do that as well. I have a video on my channel that shows you all about the planner and my planning system. And that's the best video to watch to kind of get an idea of how the system works, just so you know exactly what you're getting when you jump into it. Okay, let's keep going. This is my personal planner. This is how I am currently, right this very second, organizing everything that has to do with my body, my mind, my relationships. But we're going to talk about relationships a little bit while a little bit ahead. But as you can see, I monitor what I'm eating here. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm just kind of keeping track up here. I'm keeping track of my sleep, how I was sleeping. I keep track of if I had to take medicine. I think this day I had to take ibuprofen 800. This is for my headaches. If I did any cleaning for the house, I kept track of that. If my kids didn't have school, I have that in here. So I would just kind of write out the different things that was going on with my body in this particular planner. And I still, to this day, have this setup. So this is my same setup. I think I've been using this setup for about almost a year now. And I really, really love this style. So this is how I will kind of organize my body. But like I said, you could do it any other way. I just want you to start thinking about how do you want to see this information? If you need to look back on it, what's going to be the easiest for you to be able to look back on? I like to have it in a personal, my personal section. so that I am able to pull it out whenever I'm done with the month, add it to my personal planner. I keep them all on this bookcase right behind me, or this shelf right behind me. And then I am able to bring that with me to the doctor. I'm able to bring that with me whenever I need to. And I have it. I have all the information for the entire year of how I felt, how much I moved, what I ate, when I needed headache medicine, when I was in a great mood, when I wasn't. And it's super, super helpful. All right. Work, work. What matters at work? You need to organize your work, your projects, your client meetings, your social media. If you're a creator, you need to organize all of that. Any role that you play, if you keep a 9 to 5, or you have your own business, no matter what, you have deadlines, you have things that you have to accomplish. You are working for something or someone, and you need to organize it so that you can show up as your best self, so that you can keep showing everybody what is going on with you on a positive level. You're the best version of yourself when you're able to organize your work and execute, right? We're able to execute in another way. So this is very particular to my work, and I only can really show it to you from the angle of my work. But I really want you to think about, how do you want to organize your work? How do you want to make sure that you are able to stay on top of and connect to whatever you are working on? The things that I like to use is, I have a posting planner. Now, my work is heavily social media related. Like, I am always on social media. I am always posting stuff. I am always putting things over on my Etsy shop and things like that. So my work is either product related or social media related. And so the way that I organize my social media is, I created my own posting planner. And I also have my brainstorming notebook. My brainstorming notebook, along with the ideas and random meeting notes, I also use it to keep up with my social media notes. So let's say one of you give me an amazing idea for a video that I want to record, that I want to add, I will add it in here. And then when I am ready to record it, I can just check it off and put it in my planner and say, oh, it's time in my work planner. Let me just jot down what I am filming today, batch film those different things, and it's all organized either in my planner or in my brainstorming notebook. It makes it really, really easy for me to execute, because I already have all my notes. I know exactly what I'm going to say. Today, I was like, okay, let me figure out the presentation. Let me figure out how I'm going to tell y'all the 8 areas I want to talk about. It is all written in my notebook, and then I just create the presentation based on my notes. So I can take this everywhere with me. And since I can take this everywhere with me, it's almost like I always feel I feel like my entire work life is basically in this notebook, because I keep so many notes within here. Real quick, I heard you talk about your personal section. What else is in this section? So I'm gonna go back to the slide before. I keep in my personal section my meal planning. I keep track of my sleep. I keep track of any moods that I have, any medicine that I may need to take. I also keep track of my workouts. I keep track of family relationship stuff. So like my friends, if we're going out with my friends, if I'm going out with my family, if I need to do something for my home, all of that, anything that is outside of work or church related can go in this section. So this is my main list of all of the personal things that I need to do in any other area that is not work related, and it will go within my personal section. Okay, so that is how I am using this particular section. And like I said, with work, I will use this section for social media for all of my to-dos. And I also use my brainstorming notebook. This is when I was actually keeping track of like YouTube followers and subscribers and stuff like that. I don't do that as much anymore, because my biggest goal was to hit 100K. I kind of stopped tracking it after that, but I really, really do love keeping all work related things in my brainstorming notebook and in the work section of my actual planner. I will use my work section to keep up with the different videos that I want to post when I want to post it. You know, many times y'all will ask me when do you plan out your videos? And many times it's an ongoing process. It is an ongoing process, which means that currently we are in April. I've already thought about pretty much all of the videos that I want to create for April. And then I start thinking about May, and I will just add them to my future planning section. But this is the thing about social media and content, especially as a creator, it's never ending, right? As long as the weeks are coming, I always need ideas. I always need to think about different things that I want to talk about and organize and share with you all. And so I keep this all within my planner under my business or my work section. And it is where I'm just going to jot down anything and everything I could possibly think of. And also think about product releases, think about my CEO roles, CFO roles, CMO roles. If you're part of organized business, then you already know where I'm going with this. But all of the roles that I have within my business, I am going to keep track of them in my work section. Your work section is not just for the just your to-dos of the operations, especially if you're a business owner. If you're a business owner, you're not just in the operations of your business. You are also the CEO, the CFO. When do you plan time to look at your finances? How do you know if you're marketing well? When do you look at your analytics? All of that matters. All of it matters. And so knowing how to make more money or do any of those things regarding the productivity of your business without getting burned out, huge part of it, right? We don't want to just fall apart. So without getting burned out and having some type of balance means that you have to plan it all. This is how we stay on top and stay the best version of ourselves, is not being too focused in on one area. And many people will focus in on planning work, and they plan like their meals, but they're not planning the whole totality of their life. They're not planning their spirit. They're not planning their mind. They're not planning all of those different things that they want to do. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to answer. Yes, I will do more videos on social media planning. I was just trying to make sure that y'all were interested in them, to be honest, because sometimes I would post videos on them and they wouldn't do as well. But I realized that I'm just going to just post more videos of organization across the board in different areas, especially all 8 of these areas. These are 8 areas that are super, super important to me because I do believe that they have helped me overall with my overall organization. And I used to be super, super focused in on like one area. So I would be so super focused on my work life, and then I would forget about something that I needed to do for my kids' school, or I would forget about something that I needed to do for my house, or I would forget about a bill, or I would just forget something else. And so what I have decided to do is to actually focus in on all areas of my life, even if I am unable to do multiple hours. This does not mean you don't have to do 6 hours a day or 2 hours working out or 3 hours on this. You can literally spend 5 minutes on your spiritual section or your spiritual life and feel at peace in your spirit. You could spend 15 minutes playing, connecting with your kids, and being able to sit and talk to your family and plan one full day a month that you're able to dedicate to them. And you would be surprised at how fulfilled you will get with the little that you can do, with the little that you can read. I would love to read a book a day, but for the most part, I can only read for like 15 to 20 minutes. And I used to feel like that was just so little and it was so pointless. And now I'm like, man, I've read so many books by reading 15 minutes a day. I'm able to usually get through a book a month by reading 15, 20 minutes a day. And that, especially if it's on Audible, I can get through like 2 or 3 books just by reading 20, 30 minutes a day. And it's listening while I'm doing something else. So just don't be too focused on how much time you can allocate to each one of these things. Just give yourself permission to literally let go of how long you're doing something, just the fact that you're going to do it, even if it's for a small amount of time. All right. What planner do I use? I use a letter size planner, and it is my own planner. So I am currently using the Tom 90 planner. It's my planner that I created. You can find it in my Etsy shop if you're interested. I would advise, though, to watch the video before you head over there, because the video is going to help you really fully understand how the planner works. All right. Let's go ahead into the next area. The next area are your relationships. Your relationships. How are you organizing your relationship? This includes your spouse, your family, your friends, acquaintances. How often do you need to spend time with them to feel fulfilled, to feel like you are actually connecting with them? What are your family goals? Small things that you can do on a consistent basis to stay connected to your family. All of these things matter. All of these things matters, especially family. Like that is like number one, right? Because you don't want to work so much to where you made all of this money, but still your family doesn't feel connected to you anymore, or you've lost track of something that's super important to you. So staying on top of the relationships. I've talked about a lot of the things that I have done within my personal planner in order to help me to stay on top of these. But let me share a couple of these with you really, really quick, just in case. The first thing that I would do for my personal planner is I did a video a couple of, I want to say last year, on how I organize different things for my family, especially with the kids. And I will use a color coding system in my personal planner in order to stay on top of the kids. So if you have multiple kids, now these aren't my kids, I only have two, but this was an example that I did. I said, if you have multiple kids, in this example, this person has 4 kids: Kiara, Nathan, Aaliyah, and Rodney. Those are their 4 kids. And you could color code for each kid. So if a kid has something particular that they have to do, instead of rewriting their name over and over and over throughout your planner, you can just associate a particular color with them. So I have on my sidebar that Kiara is pink and Nathan is blue, Aaliyah is purple, and Rodney is yellow. And then Rodney has to do something on Monday morning, and I put the 9:20. That's what Rodney has to do. Kiara has to be at work for 9 a.m. I have to get snacks for Nathan's hockey team, right? All of the different things that you have to do. There's a Teacher's Appreciation Day for Aaliyah. All of the different things that you have to do for each kid can be color coded. This I will do in my personal planner. So I have my schedule planner, which is going to just have a list of my actual schedule, appointments, meetings, all of that, things that I need to do by a certain time. But in my personal planner, the one that has my meals, my workouts, anything that's kind of going on in my personal life, the medicine, how I'm feeling overall, I will also keep track of my family and home things. And so this is where I would color code different things that I needed to do for my kids, or even for my husband. If I'm trying to stay on top of something for my husband, it will go in this planner. So this is all of the personal things that I need to take care of. I like to use a vertical style for this because I am able to add a bunch of details, right? So I have dinner, which is dinner at 7 p.m. It's going to be red beans and rice. But then I also have color coded different things that we have to do for the kids. And so this is something that you can do also within your planner to help you to stay on top. I also will add pictures in my planner and keep up with different memories in my planner. This is a great way also for you to organize and stay on top and keep up with the last time you have connected with your family, that y'all have done something together as a family, and keep up with these memories. Being able to flip through this notebook and look at all of the other things that we have done together as a family is super, super helpful. Like this one was March 27th, 2021. So this was over 2 years ago that my family went to the zoo. We went to the zoo together this day. And then before, this was February 2020. So this is right before the world shut down for COVID, that we were at Mardi Gras. And I'm pretty sure in March, all of us were sick with COVID because we didn't even know that COVID was a thing. And all of us got sick like the next, like 2 weeks later, we were all sick. But that's right when the world shut down. So this was our last outing together as a family. And that's my brother and his kids and me and my kids and my husband. So it's really wonderful to be able to look back on your planner and see all of these memories. But if you don't add them, if you don't organize them, if you don't take time to kind of decide when you're going to do these things and when you're going to set aside time for your relationships, then it's going to be very challenging for you to stay on top of it. So this is something that I would do from time to time that just helps me to organize and stay on top and remind myself of the last time we were able to do something together as a family, which helps me to plan in the future. It's helping me plan in the future, right? So the other thing that I do is keep a bucket list. Keep a list of all of the places you want to go. And so this is in my long-term notebook, but I had a list of all of the different things that we wanted to do as a family that we kind of came up with. And so we wanted to go to the beach. I think we did that one last year, but we did not go. We haven't gone to Niagara Falls yet. I haven't taken the girls to Disney World yet. I wanted to do a writing vacation where I just kind of got away and just write and just kind of just dreamed and imagined. Haven't done that one yet as well. So I keep a list of all of the things that I want to do in my relationships, either with my husband or my kids or my family, or maybe even my friends. I will add it to a list so that if I'm ever like, man, what do I want to do? How can we connect? How can we make sure that we are staying on the same page and flowing together as a family? I can come back to this list that we created together. We all sat down and talked about different things and dreamed together of the different things that we wanted to do. And we created a list, which helps us to go back to this list, come up with a day that we're going to do it, and add it to the planner. And it's so fun, guys. So just make sure you are organizing this area of your life. You are organizing this area of your life. Okay. Money. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I run this one on this channel. We talk about money a lot on my channel. We talk about your money goals. How do you want to monitor and see your money? What matters the most to you when it comes down to your money, your budget, your saving, your investing, your debt, your reduction, your expenses, all of that matters. And so I talk about this a lot already. So you should know that this one was going to be on the list, but I use my budget planner. I have used a budget planner for quite some time, couple of years now. And of course, it has transformed my money. It has helped me out so much when it comes to staying on top of the different things that I need to do with my money. This is my expense tracker. And also it's another thing that I will just update at the beginning of my day. So at the beginning of my day, when I am starting off my day, I will usually do my morning planning routine, which consists of doing my my faith planner. And then within my faith planner, I will write my verse of the day. I will do a prayer. That might take me about 10 minutes. My prayer, my spiritual time, reading a scripture, some type of Bible study. I will take about 10 minutes to do that. And then the second thing that I will do is do my budget section. With my budget section, I am looking at the transactions from the previous day. I am adding them into my expense tracker. That takes me another like 10 minutes. So now we're at about 20 minutes. And then for the last 10 minutes, this is when I'm kind of looking at everything else that I have to do for the day. So I'm actually in my schedule planner, my work planner, and my personal planner. I'm flipping back and forth because I'm planning my actual day. I'm looking at what's in my schedule currently, what do I need to do that's work related, what do I need to do that's personal or home related, and jotting all of those things down within my catch-all planner or my hourly planner. And that is how my morning goes. So I set aside 30 minutes every single morning to look in my planner and to do that. In the afternoon, when I am checking in with my planner, I am just checking in the schedule section, the work section, and the personal section. So I'm just checking off the different things that I did, and then that's it. And then at the end of the day, I will update my planner for the last time of the evening and just kind of check off the different things that I do and prepare for the next day. But the morning is probably the longest that I'm spending in my planner because that's 30 minutes. The afternoon and the evening, I might be in it for 10 minutes total. Okay. And then, of course, we've talked about cash envelopes. I use cash envelopes along with my planner. And I have a new cash envelope system now that I do use. And I am going to post another video on my cash envelope system and my savings setup next week. I'm going to show that next week because hopefully by then, all of you who are part of Organize You, the saving workbooks go out on the 15th in the mail to you. So that should be, you should have it by next week when I post the video. The last area that we're going to talk about today is space. Space. How do you want to organize your space? Now, this is the area that most people start off with. It is one of my last areas because to be honest, this is the area where I will make sure certain areas are organized at all times, but this is the one that is the most on routine. So this is the area that I probably have to add to my planner the least because I already have a routine that is in my notebook that I use in order to stay on top of this area. And so the questions that you want to ask yourself is, how do you want to organize your space? Are there some spaces to you that are more important than others? For me, my common spaces like my living room, my dining room, the kitchen, and the bathroom are probably like downstairs, and even my office are spaces that are the most important to me that I really, really love to keep organized and super clean. But when it comes to my bedroom, I usually will organize and clean that one once a week. And also I will clean the kids' rooms and their bathrooms once a week. But every other area in the house that is like super important to me, I will clean those every single day. The kitchen is cleaned every single day. And that is because those are spaces that I really, really just like to stay on top of because they make me feel the most at peace. You have to decide what areas of your home make you feel most at peace, because here's the thing, you won't be able to do it all the time, and sometimes you do have to choose. So sometimes I will say, you know what, I will just walk away from my bedroom right now and focus in on the areas that I can clean really quickly until I have a moment to actually set aside some really good time to clean my bedroom or to clean my kids' rooms or something like that. So you have to decide first what areas are super important to you. I like to keep this within my routine notebook or within my long-term notebook. I've shared a video on my long-term notebook a couple of weeks ago. And if you wanted to watch that video, I talk about how I over and over and over. And so this is one of those areas. I don't like to rewrite over and over and over my home cleaning things. So I have in this notebook 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. These are the things that I want to clean. I also have home cleaning sheets, but I top of it. So, but are going to, I'm going to show you all my to do this process, and I am going to the recording, but I will see you all in my next video because I see that my connection is starting to go out. So I will see y'all. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Okay?